What if every fruitless effort, every battle waged against the current of existence, were nothing more than the echo of an ancient veil that prevents us from seeing the most sublime truth? What if what we have been conditioned to believe about achievement and manifestation were inherently flawed, founded on a premise of scarcity and an external force we never possessed? These are the questions that echo in the silent corridors of forbidden knowledge, whispers at an ancient wisdom that today, finally, dares to emerge from the shadows to reveal a radically different path. Prepare yourselves, pilgrim souls of the esoteric path, because what is about to be revealed today is not a mere technique, but a complete transmutation of your perception of the universe. A master key that Thoth, the Atlantean, the scribe of the gods, encoded in the very foundations of our reality. It is a fragment of those Hermetic texts that few have dared to decipher, a teaching that promises to dismantle the illusion of effort to reveal the sovereignty inherent in your spirit. Here we will not seek confrontation, but perfect alignment with the universal vibrational field. Not frenetic action, but mastery of the law of EFFORTLESSNESS. Imagine for a moment a path where achieving everything doesn't involve doing anything in the mundane sense, but rather reaching a state of flow so profound, of non-forcing so absolute, that the universe itself bows before your coherence. This is the mystery hidden behind the veils, a sacred science that the initiates of the halls of Amenti understood perfectly. We have been conditioned to believe that effort is the cardinal virtue. But what if that same effort, born of fear and lack, is the most potent resistance, the friction that sabotages every subtle field we try to create? This path invites us to unlearn, to recognize how internal tension generates an inverted field, attracting the opposite of what is desired. Today, the internal alchemy of your being is about to be catalyzed. We will explore the power of inner silence as the genesis of true action, the active and conscious surrender that is not surrender, but the forbidden gesture of the ancients, the anchor of your presence in the physical that transforms desire into pure magnetism. You will understand how presence becomes the golden receptacle, the state of being that already possesses what is desired before it manifests. You will know the point of yield, that subtle threshold where the ego dissolves and universal intelligence takes the reins, opening the doors to the flow of Ket, the pure vibrational frequency that attracts effortlessly. This is a journey to the Be, very heart of manifestation, a path that will free you from the chains of doing and anchor you in being. If these words resonate deep within your soul, if you feel the call of this hidden truth, I invite you to join this revelation. Leave your like to signal your commitment to awakening, share your insights in the comments, and of course, subscribe so you don't miss any of the pieces of this ancient puzzle. Your transformation begins now. The law of effortlessness, central to the teachings of Thoth, is not an action, but a deep cosmic intelligence that operates beyond brute force. Contemplate for a moment. How much effort do you expend pushing against the currents of life, unwittingly creating a reversed field, a whirlwind of resistance that repels that which you most desire? The code of Thoth whispers that true conquest lies not in imposing your will on reality, but in the subtle dance of surrender. It is recognizing that the universe operates by vibrational alignment, not coercion. Force is an illusion of control. Flow, a mastery of energy that uplifts you. This alignment is not a passive act, but an internal symphony. The ancient hieroglyphics, echoes of the halls of Amenti, reveal that the genesis of this state lies in inner silence. In that stillness, where the clamor of the ego dissolves, cardiac coherence emerges, a unified rhythm between the heart, mind, and surrounding energetic field. It is here that your individual frequency harmonizes with the universal frequency, dismantling friction and opening the portals to effortless manifestation. Isn't the perfect tuning of an instrument what allows its melody to resonate with the cosmos, uplifting the listener. Surrender, often misinterpreted as weakness, is the forbidden gesture that Thoth initiates practiced in secret. It is not caving in to adversity, but surrendering control to the immanent flow of being, to the higher self that dwells beyond dual perceptions. It is a radical act of trust, a conscious detachment from attachment to outcome, knowing that the law of effortlessness is already orchestrating perfection. This surrender dissolves resistance, that self-imposed barrier that hinders the path of flow, allowing universal energy to propel you toward your manifest destiny. When non-forcing ceases, when friction fades, your being becomes the golden vessel, an alchemical chalice capable of containing and materializing the highest designs. This is not magic in the mundane sense, but a spiritual science of manifestation. It is about inhabiting the state of being, that which you desire, before it presents itself in the physical. The Hermetic texts imply that Thoth taught his disciples to perceive reality as a malleable vibrational field, shaped not by external struggle, but by the internal resonance of their own aligned consciousness, manifesting their vision. The point of yield is that mystical threshold where individuality merges with the universal current. Here, the law of effortlessness reaches its fullest expression, and the flow of Ket, the very essence of cosmic abundance, pours forth unhindered. This is not a matter of passive waiting, but of an active surrender that attunes your being to the frequency of the desire already fulfilled. It is the culmination of heart coherence, the dissolution of resistance, the uninterrupted flow. But what happens when this flow stabilizes, when the golden vessel is filled, and the mind transitions from desire to abiding? What deeper truth awaits on the other side of this threshold of manifestation when your being vibrates in perpetual harmony? The truth that awaits, dear seeker, is none other than the revelation that the halls of Amenti, that mystical abode of ancient wisdom, were built not with bricks or the sweat of one's brow, but through a masterful manipulation of the vibrational field, an act of pure, sustained alignment. Thoth, the cosmic scribe, understood that genuine creation emanates from non-forcing, from an internal resonance so profound that the universe has no choice but to reflect it. His legacy, preserved in the annals of Hermeticism, whispers to us that the grandest manifestation is always an echo of the coherence of being, not of the futile struggle of doing. Here, the law of effortlessness is not passivity, but a surrender so absolute that the cosmos surrenders to your silent will. The halls of Amenti, beyond being a physical sanctuary, represent a state of consciousness, a sustained projection of the purest heart coherence. Thoth erected them not through conventional action, but by vibrating in perfect harmony with the very essence of his vision, achieving an inner silence so profound that it dissolved all resistance. It was a forbidden gesture, a technique of creation seemingly effortless, where the flow of Ket became the mortar and the ether the cornerstone. He taught that form follows frequency, and that the golden vessel not only attracts, but also radiates the reality it wishes to perpetuate, becoming the epicenter of an inverted field, where external reality folds into the internal. This is the point of yield where the master alchemist merges with his creation. Thoth, far from imposing his will through force, flowed with the primordial current of existence, becoming an impeccable channel for manifestation. The halls of Amenti are testimony that the highest creation emerges from a vibration so pure and uninterrupted that it transcends the need for any physical effort. It is an act of pure, sustained consciousness, where divine purpose is anchored in the collective vibrational field. Its construction was a symphony of alignment and surrender, a mirror of the universe responding to an immaculate resonance, unchallenged by ego or doubt. Imagine an architect who uses not blueprints or tools, but the perfect melody of his soul to shape an ethereal cathedral. Thoth, the builder of Amenti, operated in that dimension. Its creation was an act of inner silence so profound that his will merged with the cosmic will, allowing the law of effortlessness to guide every atom to its perfect place. The halls are, in essence, a perpetual harmonic resonance, a place where the energy crystallized by an enlightened mind is held intact, revealing the true nature of the vibrational field, a malleable substance, infinitely receptive to pure intention and stripped of resistance. A golden vessel that expanded to contain a universe of wisdom. Thoth's creation is irrefutable proof that the tangible emerges from the vibrational, and that the constant flow, devoid of the friction of forced action, is the true key to manifestation. It teaches us that to give shape to your world, you need not force, but coherence, not effort, but surrender. But how can we, in our dense and seemingly immovable reality, apply this forbidden gesture of creation without action? What connection exists between the magnitude of the halls of Amenti and the small or large creations of our daily lives? And how can this inverted field be invoked in the here and now? Misdirected effort, born from the fear of lack, is the primordial. Resistance. This internal friction blocks your alignment with the flow of Ket in the vibrational field. Forcing manifestation out of anxiety is a forbidden gesture that creates a reversed field, repelling desire. The law of effortlessness demands surrender. Humanity confuses action with control. This effort is the ego's resistance, a noise that drowns out inner silence and coherence. By forcing, we fight against the existential current, dissipating energy in friction and breaking alignment. Thus, intention never crystallizes. Thoth, in erecting the halls of Amenti, operated without fear or resistance. It was a pure extension of the law of effortlessness. He flowed. His inner silence, a golden vessel, gestated the idea without friction, allowing the vibrational field to reconfigure itself through intrinsic coherence. Applying the forbidden gesture involves a reorientation, cultivating heart coherence to dissolve resistance. At the point of yield, the ego silences and the mind aligns with the heart, accessing the inner silence. Here, energy is concentrated, and the vibrational field receives a pristine signal for manifestation. This recalibration transmutes the reversed field of anxious striving into attraction. Freed from the friction of fear, your energy merges with the flow of Ket, propelling your aspirations. Ancient wisdom reveals that power resides in the aligned being. But how do we sustain this alignment? In a world of resistance, and what is the blind spot that prevents us from crossing this sacred threshold? The effort trap is a vibrational declaration, a tacit confession of absence. When we strive, we are not projecting abundance, but the resonance of a lack we believe to be fundamental. It is as if the soul whispers to the universe, "I don't have it, therefore I must strive for it," creating an inverted field where the energy of what is desired repels itself. The ancient fragments of Thoth, jealously guarded in the vaults of the White Brotherhood, describe this soul friction as the most powerful sign of dissonance, a forbidden gesture that nullifies any attempt at genuine alignment with the flow of Ket. The inner silence, that golden receptacle of intention, is deafened by the noise of resistance itself, the blind spot that prevents us from crossing this sacred threshold is the deeply rooted subconscious resistance that confuses courage with sacrifice. Our ancestral programming drives us to believe that achievement must be arduous, that genuine manifestation is the result of a forbidden gesture of incessant struggle. Even when we consciously attempt to flow, a hidden part of our being, that echo of the ego forged in ages of scarcity, clings to the friction of having to earn it, preventing full alignment. This internal sabotage is the most insidious reverse field, dissipating heart coherence and anchoring the being in the vibration of absence. Before desire can imprint itself in the vibrational field, sustaining alignment in a world that seems. To demand constant effort is true mastery, the art of active surrender. The Hermetic texts reveal that Thoth and the builders of the halls of Amenti did not retreat from the world, but rather cultivated a deep coherence that allowed them to transcend its influence. Their inner silence was a constant golden receptacle, an unchanging state of being where energy was purified of all external resistance. It was not a complacent passivity, but a full and active attention, a subtle recalibration of one's personal vibrational field so that it merged with the frictionless flow of Ket, holding the point of yield as its anchor. This effort, this forbidden gesture, is the external manifestation of an internal reversed field, a vibrational paradox that proclaims lack even in the pursuit of abundance. It is the mind that creates resistance by categorizing and judging what is versus what should be, breaking coherence. The law of effortlessness is not inaction, but the elimination of mental friction, the surrender of the need to control. The how Thoth taught that true manifestation arises when consciousness aligns with the already is, infusing desire into the cosmic ether with the absolute certainty of its latent existence, dissolving all signs of absence. The alchemy of the law of effortlessness invites us to uncover this blind spot, to recognize that friction resides not externally, but in the internal resistance to flow. It is an invitation to a total reconfiguration of being, to embrace a form of action that dissolves into the universal vibrational field. But how does this total surrender differ from inertia? And how can we be sure that we are immersed in the flow of Ket and not simply abdicating complacency, without falling back into the forbidden gesture of trying to do nothing? Surrender, according to Thoth, is not passivity, but conscious choice. It is inner silence where the mind dissolves its control, releasing the vibrational field of friction. It is not a forbidden gesture, but immersion in the flow of Ket, an alignment with existence, anchored in the point of yield of the law of IFFO, RTL, ESSN, ESS. Internal tension over control is the saboteur of the subtle field, forcing an outcome, clinging to the how, generates friction that tears apart coherence. This resistance impedes manifestation by reversing the polarity of the vibrational field, creating an inverted field that repels what is desired, an echo of distrust in the flow of KET. The need to control emanates from insecurity and universal distrust. The mind, by predicting, generates resistance, projecting friction onto possibilities, like rowing exhaustedly against the flow of Ket. Thoth taught that authority resides in surrender, in alignment with what already is, transcending the ego. That clings to the illusion of not forcing. The subtle field, the golden receptacle of intentions, becomes turbulent under this tension. Imagine a serene lake where each ripple of friction for control disturbs its reflection. Manifestation, instead of emerging easily, struggles between currents, losing potency and coherence. This resistance creates a forbidden gesture that prevents the vibrational field from attuning to what is desired. Thus, the key to dissolving this friction lies in internal recalibration, a return to the inner silence where cardiac coherence is restored. It is an invitation to transcend duality, to experience total surrender, which is conscious expansion. Understanding this resistance is the first step toward the law of effortlessness. But how can this silence and coherence be cultivated without manipulation? And how does it relate to the halls of Amenti? Cultivating inner silence is surrender, yielding the ego to the intelligence of the flow of Ket. Thoth's doing nothing dissolves resistance. When friction ceases, the vibrational field achieves cardiac coherence, transcending forcing. It is the first step in the law of effortlessness, rebalancing polarity, the key to genuine manifestation without unnecessary struggle or tension. The forbidden gesture of manipulation is a poison that reverses the vibrational field forcing creates. An inverted field attracting the opposite. The mastery of manifestation lies in alignment, not compulsion. Thoth taught that authority arises from allowing, trusting that the golden vessel already contains the seed of all desire, waiting only for the absence of resistance to germinate. Tension of expectation, that subtle resistance, veils the golden vessel. Every attachment to how or when generates friction, distancing one from the flow of Ket. This principle of polarity, when misunderstood, condemns one to self-sabotage. An intention charged with tension is an arrow that forced deflects, creating its own opposition. It is the cycle of futile effort, the echo of the desire that is denied. The yield point is the sacred moment of total surrender, letting go of control, embracing uncertainty. It is not defeat, but the victory of the spirit. Here, resistance dissolves, the vibrational field is purified, and coherence is re-established. It is the threshold where no force becomes a force of alignment, attracting what is desired without. Struggle, like a leaf in a river. But this surrender is not passivity. It is a heightened action of consciousness, attuning to higher frequencies. It is the language of the halls of Amenti, the wisdom of Thoth. How do we fully transcend this universal friction and resistance to reside permanently in the flow of Ket? And what implications does this have for inner alchemy, beyond mere manifestation? The answer lies in the vibration of one's own being. Inner silence is the genesis of authentic action. Without it, everything is born of confusion. Thoth taught that in this pristine stillness, resistance and friction dissolve. Here, the vibrational field is purified, allowing alignment with the law of effortlessness to flow. It is the antithesis of forcing, a conscious surrender dot. It is not the absence of noise, but an active state of consciousness. This forbidden gesture is profound surrender, the point of yield where the ego vanishes. In this silence, cardiac coherence is restored, dissolving the inverted field generated by effort, opening the flow of Ket, the divine current. Manifestation without force arises from this non-doing. Inner silence aligns your vibrational field with universal frequencies, attracting what you desire without struggle. It is the law of effortlessness, where desire is fulfilled through conscious presence, not through tension or resistance, but through the wisdom of one's own essence. The halls of Amenti hold the secret. This silence activates the golden vessel. Thoth insisted that external seeking distracts from inherent power. The flow of Ket flows only for those who have transcended. The noise, finding inner resonance without friction, a harmony few can hear. Reflect. Is your action an echo of turbulence or of the primordial silence? How can you dissolve resistance to dwell in perfect coherence? Inner alchemy demands exploring the depths of this sacred non-doing, a mystery we are barely deciphering, to manifest your highest self. What if this silence were the key to even deeper realities? The state of pre-manifestation is the ethereal antechamber, a cosmic whisper that precedes conscious desire. It is the immaculate potentiality in the inner silence. Thoth suggested that before the word, there already existed a vibration, a pure vibrational field, awaiting our surrender to flow with the law of effortlessness, without forcing. This subtlety is the true point of yield, where creation is born from an intrinsic alignment with the universal current. By not forcing, dissolving resistance and friction, we become the golden receptacle, a pristine channel through which the flow of Ket materializes, without the reversed field. To access this realm, one must transcend thought, immersing oneself in cardiac coherence, harmonizing with the cosmic pulsation. It is the forbidden gesture of not doing, of simply being. Here, inner silence is plenitude, a resonance that allows desire to form from its essence, effortlessly. Human longings often arise from lack, generating friction that distorts the vibrational field and creates resistance. But pre-manifestation is born from inherent abundance, from the conviction that everything already exists potentially. It is. Recognizing that the universe has encoded the optimal path, awaiting our surrender. The halls of Amenti taught that this phase is crucial. Understanding it is unlocking the power of Thoth to flow with life, not force, allowing the law of effortlessness. It is listening to the echo of what is not yet. Could this silence be the key to deeper realities, transcending conventional manifestation? The true act of surrender is not resignation, but an active and lucid surrender, a conscious yes to the flow of Ket. It is a profound resonance, a decision not to force, releasing all resistance that generates friction. Aligning with the pure vibrational field of Thoth dissolves the inverted field of fears and expectations. How do we achieve this lucid surrender? This forbidden gesture of simply being, activating the law of effortlessness? This forbidden gesture implies cardiac coherence, the attunement of heart and mind in the inner silence, where the ego's demands cease. It is not about suppressing desire, but rather allowing it to emerge from the immaculate potentiality within the golden vessel. Without resistance or friction, desire is pure intention, a cosmic whisper that the universe hears without distortion. Thus, the law of effortlessness is activated in its most genuine manifestation. According to Thoth, the halls of Amenti spoke of action born from non-action. At the point of yield, where the self merges with the whole, here, surrender is transformative power. It is letting go of the control of how and when, trusting in the wisdom of the vibrational field. By flowing without forcing, without opposing friction, we are a transparent channel for manifestation. Doesn't our greatest power lie in this? Surrender, revealed by Thoth? This alignment of conscious surrender transcends the linear concept of time and space in manifestation. What is desired already exists potentially, encoded in the flow of Ket. Our task is to allow it to flow through us, being the golden vessel. Forcing generates resistance and friction, creating a reversing field that repels. Thoth whispered that true mastery is internal, letting go and trusting. Thus, active and lucid surrender is the gateway to inner silence, where cardiac coherence merges with universal wisdom, activating the vibrational field for effortless manifestation. It is the dance of being and non-being, the forbidden gesture of allowing. But what happens when this surrender encounters vestiges of a deep-rooted inverted field, with patterns that persist like echoes of the past? How do you disarm this friction? This is the next veil to be lifted. The inverted field, that persistent shadow that holds us back, is nothing more than the crystallization of ancestral beliefs, deep-rooted fears, and behavioral patterns etched into the psyche. They are the old chains that prevent the forbidden gesture from manifesting in its purity. This resistance, this internal friction, becomes an energetic vortex that deflects the flow of Ket, impeding the true law of effortlessness. It is an echo of the past, a distortion in the golden vessel that we must transmute. Identifying these energetic knots requires a deep immersion in inner silence. It is in this sacred space that heart coherence allows us to hear the whispers of our own resistance, to perceive the friction we unwittingly create. Thoth revealed to us that true alchemy begins with recognizing these shadows, not to fight them, but to understand their origin and deactivate their power. It is self-observation without judgment, a conscious flow toward the root of the inverted field. Disarming the reversed field is not an act of strength, but of an even deeper surrender. It is surrendering not only desire, but also the resistance and friction we generate by clinging to the how or the why of our own imperfection. This forbidden gesture then becomes an act of purification, of allowing the flow of Ket to wash away the impurities from the golden vessel. Alignment is achieved by letting go of the old narratives that sustain that resistance reaching the point of yield. The revelations from the halls of Amenti detail how this transmutation is a prerequisite for frictionless manifestation. When the golden vessel is freed from the distortions of the reversed field, it becomes a pure channel for the law of effortlessness. Thoth taught us that resistance is an illusion, a projection of the fragmented mind. By consciously flowing, even with the shadows, we integrate and dissolve them, transforming friction into the driving force of our vibrational field. This process of purification, of disarming the inverted field, is the key to unlocking the deepest levels of the Forbidden's gesture. It is not enough to desire. One must be the desire, without resistance. But is there a specific technique, an arcane ritual that allows the initiate to so masterfully dissolve the last veins of friction, completely merging their consciousness with the flow of Ket and ensuring manifestation beyond all doubt? That is what Thoth veiled, a mystery we will now unravel. The Forbidden's gesture of Thoth begins with one hand in surrender over the golden receptacle in the center of the chest. Here resides cardiac coherence, the inner silence that anchors the vibrational field. It is not forcing, but flow, a conscious act that activates the law of effortlessness. It prepares for manifestation, transcending the inverted field from pure essence. This connection is the yield point where resistance dissolves, recognizing friction as an illusion. By touching the golden vessel, the being aligns with the flow of Ket. It allows universal energy to flow unhindered, dismantling the bonds of the inverted field. It activates the vibrational field for manifestation. Simultaneously, the other hand extends toward the earth, palm down. This Forbidden's gesture is a purification and conscious release revealed in the halls of Amenti. It releases the densities of the vibrational field, doubts, and fears. It allows the law of effortlessness to operate, transmuting friction for a manifestation without resistance. Both hands create a unique energetic circuit. The hand on the chest activates intention from the inner silence. The other releases resistance, establishing perfect alignment. This is the flow of Ket. The vibrational field is harmonized for manifestation without force, making the golden vessel a beacon of coherence against the inverted field. This gesture is Thoth's threshold for the law of effortlessness, a surrender that transcends the physical. It reconfigures reality from coherence. But what happens when the Forbidden's gesture is internalized, when consciousness itself becomes the golden receptacle, manifesting with pure thought? That is the next arcane, the culmination of inner silence. The arcane of inner silence is revealed. The Forbidden's gesture transmutes into resonance. Consciousness is the golden receptacle, Thoth's chalice of pure intention. Cardiac coherence emerges as a forge of presence to manifest with pure thought. It is mind-heart fusion, an alignment that dissolves the resistance of the inverted field, anchoring the ethereal in the physical. This cardiac coherence, ancient knowledge from the halls of Amenti, harmoniously unifies intellect and emotion. It is a mastery of presence. With alignment, inner silence activates a unique vibrational field. Surrender to the law of effortlessness becomes palpable, dissolving friction and allowing the flow of Ket to operate without force. Anchoring this, coherence in the physical does not imply struggle. The flow of Ket, the life current of Thoth, guides. By ceasing resistance and forcing, the personal vibrational field synchronizes with the cosmic. This point of yield allows for manifestation. Conscious presence reorganizes the world through pure flow. This anchoring is alchemy, a demonstration of the law of effortlessness. The Forbidden's gesture, internalized, is a command. Energy from the golden vessel, anchored by cardiac coherence, dissolves residues of the inverted field. Doubts, fears, and friction are transmuted. The being becomes a magnet for the manifestation desired through alignment, doing, replaced by being. Thus, this conscious presence, anchored heart coherence, is the threshold of unimaginable creative capacity. It is surrender that allows flow without resistance, without forcing. How to sustain the living golden vessel? The secret to maintaining constant vibrational field alignment for uninterrupted manifestation? That is the next veil Thoth invites us to lift. We have glimpsed the very heart of creation, not as an act of will, but as a symphony of being. Thoth's technique, veiled for eons, is not a mere doing, but a profound surrender that transfigures the resistance of the reversed field into a pristine flow. We have understood that true manifestation emerges from impeccable alignment, a heart coherence that nullifies all friction. It is in this inner silence that the individual vibrational field merges with the law of effortlessness, allowing the flow of Ket to orchestrate reality from the golden vessel of our being, without forcing, without struggle, only with the ancient wisdom of the halls of AMENTI.now. Tell me, seeker of truths, what veil of self-deception, what ultimate friction do you feel is still preventing you from reaching that full manifestation, that point of yield where being is everything? Leave your mark in the comments and let's share the light. If this revelation has resonated in your spirit, if it has ignited the spark of an internal alchemy, I invite you to join our brotherhood of explorers of the unknown. Subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss the next chapter. Because the question of how to sustain this living golden vessel, how to maintain the constant alignment of your vibrational field for uninterrupted manifestation, is the door to the next wisdom that Thoth will reveal to us on our next journey toward the essence of creation. I await your visit to the art of eternal presence, sustaining the flow of Ket to manifest without limits.